Hello, my powerful people, and welcome back to my channel, Purple RX. It's Renata, your friendly and resourceful PharmD, here to help this crazy health and wellness world with all this information to find out exactly what works for you. Because not everybody is for everything, and everything is not for everybody. So today, let's just hop up into it. Oh yeah, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, spread this around to whoever. This is for everybody. Everybody needs to know this information, and this information is pertinent and important, especially in times where we're getting all these viruses and all of these things are coming up. It is important to know about our bodies and know how we can keep them healthy and what ways we can do and how to look at things natural as well as conventional medication, because everybody doesn't like to do everything, and your body is not going to react the same way for everybody with everything. So today we're going to talk about the liver. So the liver is this kind of like, it's like a miraculous organ within your body. Just about everything you ingest is going to pass through the liver. In the healthcare world, in medication world, in pharmacy world, we call that the first pass effect. And that's like 90% of the meds and drugs that you will intake first have to pass through the liver, which means they will have some effect in your body and in the liver and in the way it is broken down. If it is broken down, what is absorbed, what is taken away, how it's affecting the function of the actual liver. So that includes food, drink, nutrients, vitamins, most of your vitamins, and they're basically broken down. Your food and your drink are broken down for the nutrients. Okay, we need this nutrient. We need this nutrient. We don't need that. That's not necessary. That we've already got too much going on in that. So let's go ahead and make that waste. So that's where the liver and bile and poo come from. Because it is turned into that form through separating and breaking down and actually turning things into bile and passing it along. Okay. So it filters harmful substances from the blood. So things like the breakdown pieces of blood like bilirubin. So when people have jaundice, it's because their liver is basically having a hard time filtering that harmful substance, and it just gets basically clogged up in the body, and you get yellow skin, yellow eyes. Sometimes when babies come out there, they have to get under that lamp. It's because their body hasn't processed. Even people who are alcoholics, they start to get yellow and have jaundice and have the yellow eyes. So like I said, 90% of your drugs are going through your liver, and it's either to activate them, to control the breakdown, to make it break down in multiple ways, because sometimes they don't just pass through the liver once, they pass through the liver 2, 3 times. They have to go through maybe 3 or 4 processes. Go through the liver, then come back, then go out somewhere else, come back. It breaks down fats, certain vitamins, your vitamins such as your iron, your folate, A, D, vitamin B12, those are major vitamins. It uses cholesterol that you eat and that you take in, which your body holds, to make bile. So those are all important. It is important in so many ways. It helps remove your toxins from alcohol, from pesticides, heavy metals, toxins that are left over from normal body functions. Like I said, things that are left over from hormone processing, things that are left over from the processing of your blood and allowing it to clot, and the hemoglobin and those factors left over, any of those toxins or anything left over, it is processed through your liver. So, like I said, hormones, that's part of the reason why I ended up with fibroids, because there was a backup and hormones weren't fully getting processed and wasted out through my body. They were just staying around. My liver was kind of getting clogged up because maybe I had gotten too much estrogen, which I did because I had an IUD. Or I had gotten too much, or you can get too much toxins from some medications, from some pesticides in foods, and pesticides that you might be exposed to topically. Working in gardens, working in places where you're using pesticides rather than something that heavy metals that you're exposed to. lead and other things in paint, even topical solutions, because after a while, those topical solutions, so say if you get topical hormones, a lot of times those are processed through the liver because hormones are broken down and processed through the liver. Any toxins that come in on a topical solution have to be processed through your liver. So your liver got it. Your liver is doing a lot of the work. And it's doing a lot of work of breaking down food and things that you intake within your body. And a lot of times we don't know that sometimes we're coming up with diseases or issues because maybe our liver isn't processing something right directly or indirectly. So it also catches harmful bacteria and germs, the little phagocytes. It has the largest group of phagocytes in any organ in the body, so that you will find through food. It keeps away, it keeps a days worth of glucose in the form of glycogen, so that if like your stores get low, it can basically process that glycogen and change it into glucose while you're sleeping, while you're chilling. Your body is doing the work. So say you haven't had that much glucose, which is what a lot of people do, is when a lot of people are doing keto, they haven't had that much glucose, they've reduced their amount of glucose, so those glycogen stores are getting tapped into, which is going to help and make those ketone bodies. So it turns amino acids into fatty acids, which can be turned into ketones when out of glucose. So that's your whole processing. So a lot of people are relying on the function of what their liver can do in order to help make those ketones, in order to help reduce that glucose. And it's not so much lose the weight, but not your body not processing so much, because it has been shown that keto has been great for diabetics and in that way, because of all the processing of glucose and all the glucose that their body is exposed to. So it helps to build the amino acids and protein. Like I said, it helps blood clot. That's where you get that jaundice, bilirubin, because that is a part of the process of hemoglobin and what's left over. The liver helps to process. So when the liver is in poor function or below normal, there's chemicals built due to like chemical buildup. You end up having your mood changes. So you may be getting tired, depleted. You have poor sleeping habits, anxiety, depression, a hard time focusing, jerking muscles, sluggish speech. Those are a lot of things that come into play, and a whole lot more when your liver may not be functioning at the best that you think it's functioning at, or the best that it's supposed to be functioning at, and the function has become poor, maybe because of how much you're intaking, and you're intaking too many toxins, because we also ingest toxins through plastics. Certain plastics, whether BPA free or not, can have xenoestrogens, and that was also a part of accumulation of hormones that come in and that people get an accumulation of, and maybe could come up with fibroids or some type of I want to say cancerous thing because of the backup. Like if you're drinking so much soy milk, there's estrogens in that. Drinking all of these things can help clog up a lot of pores. Alcohol clog up that liver, because the liver is having to work overtime and having to do so much work to make up for what you're doing out there in the world, what you're processing, what you're trying to eat, drink, what you're intaking. Those things are all important, and those things are all a part of what the liver does to either help you get the nutrients you need and the fats you need and the processes you need, or remove those toxins and get those things out of the body. Now, when the liver, it's partly miraculous, because when the liver is damaged, up to like 3/4 of your liver can be removed and there be no destruction in its function. So then it'll grow back itself within a few weeks. It could be months, but a few weeks it'll grow back to the regular size. And that's just like when somebody sometimes gets a liver transplant, they may only get a piece of somebody's liver. They only have to get so much of that person's liver, and then it could start to grow. I'm not sure if you transplant somebody else's, it'll start growing. But I know that if your own is cut, yours will grow back. So what are some signs and symptoms of poor liver function? Signs and symptoms of poor liver function are not very distinctive. So it can be hard to be like on your own, I think I have poor liver function, unless you know you're drinking daily or you're doing something toxic to your body daily. you would not really know. So there's basically like your skin and your eyes appear yellowish. That's that jaundice thing. That's jaundice. When your skin and your eyes appear yellow, itchy skin, swelling in the legs and ankles, dark urine, pale colored stool, nausea and vomiting, loss of appetite, chronic fatigue, bruise easily. Have those symptoms I have because of my kidney. I bruise easily. I don't really have, and itchy skin could be dryness, so you really don't know. Loss of appetite can be something else. So it's hard on your own to see, is my liver functioning at its best? That's why regular visits to your healthcare provider to get stats on your liver function test, which will be your ASTs, your ALTs, your albumin, your bilirubin, because that level will show how much accumulation and how much buildup from that hemoglobin breakdown is happening. Or your PT-INR, which is your like prothrombin time, which has to do with your clotting factor and how well your blood is clotting and how efficient is clotting. Is it clotting at the right rate? Those all help. So always have and I have to be better at this of myself. Go get regular checkups, yearly checkups, every 6 months. Whether, like I said, a healthcare provider, a natural health, but make sure that they can do tests to check the function of all your organs, to know how to know what's best and to keep you functioning at your best, because that's really what we're here for. We're here to help you navigate something to keep you functioning at your best. Now, the body and the body is just like I said, it's a wonderful machine where it can heal itself and it can do a lot of the work to repair things within itself. But there's times that it needs our help. There's time it needs our help from the way we eat, what we need to reduce, like reducing alcohol, reducing toxic things that you may get in toothpaste, what you eat off of, eating off of plastics and BPA free, even non-BPA free. Sometimes those plastics are going to have substances in them that are toxic to us, but we may not catch it till later on in life. So eating off of glass, glass plates, all of those things, making sure we're eating the right things and making sure we're adding certain things in our diet to make sure. So how can you help? What helps the liver? Great things for the liver: citrus fruit. So that can be your lemon, your oranges. Grapefruit is great. Grapefruit is great in healing that processing, and it's actually kind of involved, and it'll inhibit the breakdown of some meds if you take grapefruit. Like I can't take grapefruit because it's going to mess with the inhibition. It's going to either inhibit or increase the effects of my meds. So it's harder to control, harder to see, harder to understand when I drink grapefruit. But I can have lemon, I can have other citrus fruits, and having those fruits maybe an hour after I take my meds or a couple of hours after I take my meds. And what that does and what the vitamin C does is it stimulates the liver, it aids the synthesizing of substances into to be absorbed by water, and it decreases inflammation and protect liver cells. Remember, in natural med studies as well as even medication studies, but mainly natural meds because they don't do a lot of studies, there are going to be studies that are not consistent because when you get into the natural and herbal world, everything in every substance is not consistent. Everything is all unique. It depends on the batch. It depends on what was in the ground and the nutrients that they absorbed from the ground at that moment. It depends on so many more factors, which is the reason why conventional medicine came about, because they wanted to have more control over the factors. And they wanted to bring those factors where they can control them and help the masses within a way. And sometimes some medication, like I said, is not great or easy for anybody. And it's not for some people's body. Some people's body does not process it well. I've seen that with Africans. I've seen it with natives where they can take a Tylenol and that put them to sleep. I had a friend who was Nigerian and she could take a Tylenol 200. She's knocked out. 400, knocked out. So think about things of what you eat. Try citrus. Put lemon in your water. Drink a little hot water with lemon in the morning. Put lemon on your food, not just on salmon or fish. Like I said, put it in arugula salads, put it in your dressings, put it in certain things that you're making. Try and implement citrus as much as possible as you can, because that is great at helping to detox and help with get toxic substances through the liver and help in that processing and increase that. Cruciferous vegetables are great. During my process, that was what is important. If you look at a lot of these people that are talking about hormone issues that they're having, a lot of them recommend cruciferous vegetables. Broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. They can help increase the natural detox enzymes, protect from damage, improve blood levels of the liver enzymes. So these are all helping with the liver enzymes to make sure your liver is functioning at its best. And so cruciferous vegetables also help to take whatever it is and absorb those toxins and actually get your liver to going and moving and pushing those things out. So that is a great thing. Everything, like I said, doesn't work for everybody. The diet I had, they wanted you to use, olive oil was okay. Some oils are okay, but minimization on oils, especially cold pressed olive oil. Nowadays, you never know if it's a scam, if it's real. It's so hard sometimes to tell what is a better product than something else. But you can slightly tell, not just by price, but on certain areas where they come from, who they're processed by. How small or big of a company it is. Are they doing small batch? Do they do cold pressed? Cold pressed olive oil is probably going to be your best bet. It decreases the levels of fat in the liver, helps to increase blood flow, and improve enzyme levels. Those liver enzyme levels that are needed for the best functioning of your liver. So I want to keep saying kidney. I don't know why. Maybe because I had a kidney transplant, but still, we're on the liver. So also hemp seeds. There's hemp seed oil, cold pressed. That's going to be your best bet. But also hemp seeds. Whole hemp seeds, unshelled, not the deshelled ones, but unshelled are the best. It still works if you just get if you get hemp seeds that are unshelled, because that helps to draw out toxins. They do the same thing that they do in the soil, they can help do it in your body. So when we plant hemp, it helps to, in between crops, probably in the 1500s, when they were coming over to the Americas and starting to take over and want to put crops down, a lot of kings and queens were like, I want you to grow hemp. They wanted them to grow hemp in between crops, because one, it helps replenish the soil. So it draws out toxins, but it also replenishes it with the amino acid profile that it has, with the high nutrient profile it has. And it's just made to draw out a lot of things. So it can help to draw out those toxins and help us to waste them within our body. So supplements, there are just a few supplements that really stand out, but you still have to be careful with these, such as milk thistle, silymarin. Also, it's another name for it. So milk thistle is something you'll find in teas. You'll find it over the counter in capsules. Now, the thing you want to remember again about any natural substances, if you're taking meds, is it going to interact with my meds? Is it going to give me an allergy? Because at some point, milk thistle, I accidentally drank a tea and didn't pay attention that it had milk thistle in it and didn't know I was allergic. But as I have had a suppressed immune system, I'm more sensitive to a lot of other things. So I had a little milk thistle in one of the teas that I was drinking, and I think it may have been a detox tea, and I ended up breaking out in hives. And I was like going up to the doctor. I was like, I don't know what this is from. And so I had to really think, like, what is this from? He's like, go to this dermatologist, go to this, go to that. I was just covered in hives, and I was just red and flushing. And milk thistle can give you flushing. It can make you itch. Those are some side effects that you'll see with milk thistle, and that's due to the drawing out and the flushing that it's trying to do, So it can basically kind of have make a hyper reaction within your body. And that's what it did to me. And it gave me hives. Now, it'll help regenerate the liver tissue, decrease inflammation, and it acts as an antioxidant. Now, there are mixed results. There have been some safe results. There was one study, I think, that was done in kids with cancer. And most of those kids, I'm looking at my notes, and most of those kids, after about 28, they were with chemo for leukemia, and so after about 28 days, their liver function improved after taking milk thistle daily, and the signs of liver damage decreased. So those are things you have to look at, and look at. Sometimes you may have to test yourself, and just also see if is there anything that's going to interact with my meds. Is there anything that's going to be for me, not for me? Now, another one also that they put out is dandelion root. There's dandelion root tea. You can actually go get the actual dandelion. There's a lot of in the store. In the store down the street from me, they have fresh dandelion. And it's not the dandelions that you blow on. It's actually the root part of them around it. And within that, there is a lot of vitamins, minerals, terpenoids, and inulin in there, which is a prebiotic fiber. And that helps in diabetes, improves it helps in diabetes, improves digestion, and aids in weight loss. It is seen to have been safe in lactating and breastfed and women that are breastfeeding. So try those things out. Look at those things. But the thing about dandelion root is it can interact with medications. So it has been seen to interact